disciplinary record for yellow cards. Perhaps they do tend to panic a little bit in the penalty area. They've been missing Linda and Krumbiegel, who moved in the summer from Hoffenheim to Wolfsburg and Juventus respectively. However, Cerci has settled brilliantly since signing in the summer from Köln, and she's back in the national team reckoning as well. So it's not all doom and gloom, really, for Hoffenheim. As for Eintracht Frankfurt, there is speculation as to whether they can keep up their apparent title challenge with such a small squad, although they have finished third 3 times in a row, so they know what it takes to finish in the European places. Can they perhaps go one better, perhaps enter the top 2, or even get top spots? Well, coming into the game, they're 5 points behind Wolfsburg, who beat bottom side Turbine Potsdam earlier on. And they'll be looking to Stina Johannes to keep another clean sheet. She's got 5 so far with an 80% save ratio, the Eintracht goalkeeper. And also, Hoffenheim will have to be on their guard in the last 15 minutes of this match. No team has scored more in the final quarter of an hour of a match than Eintracht Frankfurt. They've got 9 goals in that time so far in 9 matches. That's quite incredible. And they've not even conceded in the final 15 minutes of a match either. So they really finish strongly. Their stamina is something to behold. Although we're right at the start of this one, and Hoffenheim trying to get in amongst them early. As we see there, Hickelsberger Füller, I said she was key to the press. She was just helping out as well. As this is Rankin with the throw down the line. It's picked up immediately by Frankfurt, but the header forward there, just too far ahead of Reuteler. Three minutes on the clock, and 0-0 as we see the first run down the left-hand side here for Cerci. As the whistle blows against her. Volta is going to have a lot of defending to do. It was Dorsun helping her out here. Coming across to that right-hand side to deal with Cerci. As a bouncing ball is sent downfield. Another easy take for Dick. As we see Nico Arnautis, the Eintracht Frankfurt head coach, looking to keep the upward trajectory of his team in the first couple of weeks of the Frauen Bundesliga season. Cerci again causing problems for Dorsun. Oh, real strength shown by Dorsun there to see off Cerci, winning the free kick as well. Well, Frankfurt here then, not just sitting back away from home, absorbing pressure early on and looking for that finish, as I said earlier on, in the final 15 minutes. They're looking to go early here as they play out from the back here with almost 5 minutes on the clock. Ball out towards the left for Lürsen. As the ball through in the end, that just comes to nothing. It can pick that one up. There's decent defending as well from Lürsen again, getting it back to Johannes. The long ball forward from Griever, 21-year-old centre midfielder. Naomi looking to get involved for the first time. And Hoffenheim mopping up really well there. I think this could be a very tight match indeed. It's one of those that you can't really predict before the game. And indeed, Hoffenheim, you can't even predict which of their sides is going to turn up tonight. No draws at all so far this season in the Frauen Bundesliga. As the ball is sent down the right-hand side by Janssens. Picked up by Hickelsberger-Fuller. He looked to return the ball to the Austrian there, but she was just caught on her heels. As the ball is sent back to the keeper, Johannes again. Don't mind resetting here on 6.5 minutes, as Dorsun can in fact go bursting up into midfield. That's good play from the centre-back to send Eintracht on their way. The pass down the line there, not quite getting Freiganging on that right-hand side. Now Rankin again with the throw on this near side of the field. Both sides are battling so hard, neither team couldn't keep the ball seemingly for more than 5 passes to string together an attack. Maybe we'll see one here from Eintracht Frankfurt as the ball is swung over the top there. And well won by Rankin, just to nod back to her own keeper. As we see Theodoros Dedes for the first time, the home side's head coach. We want to make it 5 wins and 5 losses and keep that pattern going and then go from there as we come towards Christmas. It's a deep ball into the corner for Eintracht Frankfurt. It's just stopped from going out in the end by Hoffenheim. As that's fleet of foot there, and then the ball sent forward towards Cherchi again, and Dorsun, well, she will say she's got her in her pocket, but she certainly knows that she's been in a game so far after 8.5 minutes. The German international defender. As that's a little bit of a heavy touch there from Greve, but they've managed to keep possession here at the back, Eintracht Frankfurt. As that's slipped towards the channel, and the sliding challenge there coming in from Rankin, who's been busy in that left back slot. A little bit of a break here. That allows Hoffenheim just to organise their defence before this long throw will come in to bombard them. Or is it going to be a short one? It's somewhere in the middle in the end as the ball is volleyed over towards Anyomi. Sprinting across to keep this in is Dunst. Didn't quite get there. Throw in for Janssens, the right back, as we tick over 10 minutes gone right now. Goalless so far. No real chances for either side. Anyomi dropping deep here to try and create something. She sprays it towards the right for Volta, who decides just to go back to her defence. Gets the return ball. As Eintracht Frankfurt, they will be patient here. They're not going to hurry forward away from home. Oh, Hoffenheim, they've got their next match coming up as there's a little bit of a lull here against second-tier Bochum in the DFB Cup Frauen. And then they're away to Carl Zeiss Jena on the 8th of December. As for Eintracht Frankfurt, in the cup competition, they are away to Union Berlin, who are also a second-tier side. Then they're home to RB Leipzig on the 9th of December. That's another big test for them in the Frauen Bundesliga. An up-and-coming side. As they look to get the ball into the box there through Dunst, but it's excellent, diligent defending against her, not allowing the ball to come in at all towards the likes of Anyomi and Freigang. Oh, not too much work to do so far for Franziska Wildfeuer, the referee, as she allows the play to go on despite the protestations of the home fans. Not too many appeals from the home players. As Graver here, keeping possession intelligently, going back to Dorsun. Volta, again, just passing up the opportunity perhaps to go forward. This is Sens. Volta there, it's just too far back, and she's been caught out of position here perhaps. Rankin trying to get in behind. She'd been caught upfield. These two sides, you can see they're really well drilled. Not allowing too much space on the transition. It's Feldkamp there, just dropping into the back line to help out, although Anyomi could be away down the right-hand side. Just delays crossing it in before clipping it towards the near post, and that is out for the corner by Feldkamp. Right on 13 minutes. That is our first corner of the game, and it comes for the away side, and well, it's mostly down to some excellent play from Anyomi here. She wasn't just going to play that in willy-nilly. Waited for the right time. As Lursen comes across to take this first corner of the game. Plenty of attackers waiting in there for Eintracht Frankfurt. It's a decent take as well towards the far stick. Headed away. Right start to the match as anticipated. Really quick pace to it as well without the match being too hectic. Klein here now. Cross. Dorsu could retreat back to her normal position, having gone up for that first corner. Volta. Not sprinting forward. Good numbers back for the home side, as that's an intelligent ball out towards the left. Lursen feeding it in. Perhaps a chance here for Eintracht Frankfurt, but the offside flag there raised against Freigang, I think. Really good line here from Hoffenheim. In fact, take your choice there who the offside player is. Reutel it was who brought the ball down in the end. As Eintracht Frankfurt just starting to get a little bit of joy in midfield, but as I say that, Hoffenheim winning possession back again quickly. Before Corley then, there's a little tug back in midfield, and that's a free kick against the home team. Sense just trying to cut inside. In fact, it was Mehmeti who came in with the challenge rather than Corley. Oh, switching sides again. Eintracht Frankfurt, they're trying to stretch the Hoffenheim defence as the ball comes in. Dick there, taking the ball at a relatively low point, considering there were players in there. For Eintracht Frankfurt, it's not quite clicked at either end in an attacking sense. Some fine defending on show so far. The 17th minute. Time flying by. There's barely been a stoppage in the match. As we see another tug back there. Reuteler, I think it was Janssens who made the run forward. Sorry, Mehmeti. Well, she had 3 or 4 players around her, but just ghosted past them. Perhaps the Eintracht Frankfurt head coach Nico Annautis will be wanting more from Volta down the right-hand side. She's seen a lot of the ball. As I keep saying, she keeps checking back rather than going on the run. Perhaps she needs to be a little more forceful down that side. And there's a ball over the top here towards Freigang. Just too far ahead of her, and another catch for Dick. I think that both head coaches can be pretty happy with what they've seen so far, Theodoros Didies and Nico Annautis. As the game really yet to catch fire as such, but it has been an absorbing one. As the quick throw in comes here from Hoffenheim towards Cerci. She's just complaining to the referee that she thought there was a foul in there, nothing given. Rankin, left-hand side for Corley. That's a nice little run to the byline here. And the toe poke out of play by the defender there. The first corner for the home side. Well, they're in no real hurry to take it at the moment. As the signal finally goes up, it will be Rankin. It's a high one into the centre of the box. Dorzoon with the initial header away. Can they keep the pressure on here, Hoffenheim? Yes, they can. Corley hits the ball, but she's lost out in the attack there to Sens. Can Eintracht now come on the quick transition down the left-hand side? No, they can't. Good keeping by Dick there, anticipating where the ball was going to end up. That right-back position for her team coming out to clear long. As with 20 minutes played, you'd have to say that defence is on top so far, but it's been far from dull. Well, Frankfurt with only 5 goals conceded all season long. No surprise that they are so organised. Hoffenheim have only conceded 6 here, and 17 overall. A little bit leaky on the road, as there's the confirmation. Hoffenheim 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 0 after 20 minutes. just get the feeling that the opening goal here is going to be absolutely crucial. As Courtney there thought that she had just caught Dunst in possession. Not to be, though. She was wrestled to the ground previous to that as Anyomi. Again, quick feet down the right-hand side and delaying her delivery into the box. That's what she does so well. A lot of players would have just smashed that across, but she waited for a time to pass as here comes the counter-attack from Hoffenheim now. As we saw Chechi and Mehmeti trying to link up there. Good defending, though, from Eintracht Frankfurt. Taking their time before making the interception. As we see, just a warning there for Diem in the middle for Hoffenheim. Breaking up the play. There's a slightly loose pass there from Eintracht Frankfurt that immediately had Feldkamp interested, couldn't quite get there, but they do have the throw in, Hoffenheim. Walter. Dawson was pointing for her to run forward, and that's what she's done this time. Making the pass there to Reuteler, with a heavy touch from the forward. Rather a wasted run down the wing in the end from Volta. And Greve. Across already by Frankfurt to that left wing. They do like to shift it from side to side as quickly as possible, and that's what they're doing midway through this first half, with the game goalless. As we see the layoff here towards Anyomi. Just as she had the chance to shoot, the ball was taken off her foot. Now the opportunity perhaps comes in. And the shot there from Dunst in the end, a yard or two wide. Oh, it was just arcing away. It was a decent effort in the end with a couple of defenders in her face. No real danger, though, for the Hoffenheim keeper, Laura Johanna Dick. Hoffenheim, they're guilty of giving the ball away as they tried to play out from the back, but they've won it back immediately and then given it away again. Eintracht Frankfurt just starting to get on top here, pouncing on those little errors from the home side. Dorsun here is in the attacking half. Almost every away player likewise. Wasn't Kleinherner received the ball from Dorsun. Janssens there, she thought she made the fair challenge on the sidelines. To be free kick. Impatient play from Eintracht Frankfurt. If they don't see the opportunity or don't see a gap, they're not going to just throw the ball forward, as Dorsun thought she saw the run there from Anyomi. Not a bad ball towards her. Nothing coming of it in the end, so they don't mind going direct if the opportunity presents itself. Though in the end it was offside by either Greve or Anyomi. Rankin. Sense comes across to try and challenge, and the play brought to a halt. Calling, and rather telegraphed that one. And Graver with the easy interception, tried to play in Anyomi, and the defence though mopping up really well, getting it back to Dick here. Well, we've seen some decent passing, especially from Eintracht Frankfurt, but it has been a defensive masterclass from both teams so far, not allowing really anything through. Can't see this one ending 0-0 though. Pace is such that one of these sides is going to run out of stamina sooner rather than later, and the side could punish them for that. Contrasting form from these teams, as Hoffenheim have lost their last two. Eintracht Frankfurt last time out beating Köln by 8-0. The away side probably slight favourites, even though if you look at the Frauen Bundesliga table, they are far above Hoffenheim. It's a tough place to come here. No, Frankfurt have a good recent record against Hoffenheim. Just delaying the take of the free kick here. Dawn comes across to take eventually, as they look to break down the left-hand side. A decent ball towards the right if Janssens can keep it in, which he has done, right in the corner. Good pace. Trying to turn there past Lursen. Left back doing very well, and here they come, Eintracht Frankfurt, sending players forward on the break. And Yomi just pulling out of the race for the ball. She knew she was offside, didn't go for it, and in the end, the flag is up anyway. Well, perhaps they were trying to be too clever there, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Anyomi especially. She is interfering with play, even though Reuteler does go across and eventually gets the ball. I don't think they can really complain about that decision. But also just to praise Hoffenheim, a really good line being shown there. Playing bravely as well at the back to try and catch those runs from the likes of Anyomi offside. The problem being that if she does get in, generally she causes havoc. We're coming up towards half an hour played already. That has absolutely flown by, despite the lack of goal-scoring opportunities and indeed goals. I think the referee there was just waiting to see if there was any advantage. She decided in the end that Corley didn't have any, and Corley wanted to get on with it immediately. The ball was still rolling though. Just allowing Eintracht Frankfurt to reset in defence. The longer ball forwards here from Hoffenheim, a sweeping one out towards the right-hand side. Can they get the ball across? It's a lovely little layoff, and that was cracking play from Hoffenheim from one end to the other in only a couple of passes. Well, that brilliantly executed pull back there towards Hickelsberger Füller. And she was just leaning back as she ran onto it and sent it high over the bar. That will up the confidence of the front three for Hoffenheim. As Anyomi now sets off on a little run, asking a little bit too much there. No, of her teammate, and that's good defending coming in from Hoffenheim again. But the game is just starting to get a little bit stretched now. It's Dean sends the ball out towards the right for Janssens. Ball straight down the middle of the pitch. Dorsun, first time away. So there we see 31 minutes played. Hoffenheim 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 0 in the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga. Dorsun. And can they get on the end of this? Freigang trying to get there, putting the defender under all kinds of pressure. I think in the end it's just a goal kick. And it's superb defending in the end from Kazaya. Conceding the corner when it looked as though she was going to. As we can see, only one shot from either side. The possession, 57% for Eintracht Frankfurt, and they've won more challenges as well. As the away side have at times looked as though they've been in control of the game. No breakthrough as yet. Anyomi. As the shot comes in, and well, it was just on the rise there. Sens took it from about 16 yards out. Bit of a tight angle. Did well here to almost get that on target. I think the keeper, Dick, would have had it covered. As we're finally starting to see some real shots coming away now. As Dawn sends the ball down the park, but it's been given away. Anyomi outside of the right boot towards Reuteler. Anyomi always trying to play in her strike partner. Ball comes across, and that will be a corner for Eintracht Frankfurt. Only the third of the game, their second. Both sets of fans in full voice. With 11 minutes remaining. Out-swinging corner here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Can they make something of it as the heads go up? It's not being cleared here by Hoffenheim. In the end, it was Sens who couldn't quite get hold of the left-footed effort. Cleared out for a throw-in. Well, they're really adding a little sense of urgency to their play here now, Eintracht Frankfurt, with just over 10 minutes to go before half-time. All the free kicks, throw-ins, corners, they're being taken as quickly as possible to try and get in behind Hoffenheim. Not settling just for a 0-0 draw here, that's for sure. The team who start the match day in second spots. Into the game 5 points behind Wolfsburg, who won 3-1 against bottom side Turbine Potsdam earlier in the day. It's just on the stretch there. Sens managing to still get the ball forward, but inaccurately. As for sure, there's a shove coming in there from Dorsun on Hickelsberger Fuller. And nowhere near the ball at all as well. She thought she could just ease the attacker out the way and allow it to go out of play for a throw. Nothing doing. Well, Dawn, in contrast to Eintracht Frankfurt, taking her time over this free kick on the left-hand side. As it's launched forward up towards the edge of the penalty area. Eintracht Frankfurt defending that with ease, though. Not too many blue shirts up there in attack for Hoffenheim. As Corley looks to drive at the centre of the defence, but successfully taken off her toes. Well, there's a clutch of away fans for Eintracht Frankfurt, making plenty of noise here at the Dietmar Hauptstadion. Sinsheim. Another interesting ball down the left-hand side here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Can they get the ball in? No, they can't. Second attempt, perhaps, before the foul eventually comes in from the attacker. She's absolutely desperate at all times to try and create, get a shot away. At the moment, you'd have to say, just visually, Eintracht Frankfurt are well on top territorially. Almost camped in the attacking half, as that's a beautiful ball through here towards Freigang. Just missed timing her run, though. Again, superb defending from Hoffenheim. Stepping up just at the right time to catch her off. Grieve was trying to put her in. Well, one of these runs from Anyomi or Freigang or Reuteler, they're going to be onside, and it's going to be dangerous for Hoffenheim. Until that time, Hoffenheim have dealt with them very well indeed. Ball again played out towards the right for Eintracht. That's a bit of a sloppy ball towards the centre, though. Team able to take it. As we're ticking down towards half-time, just over 6 minutes to go, and I don't think we'll have that much stoppage time either. As Dorsun says there, she was caught in the face there by a flailing arm from Hickelsberger Fuller. Friends in the end. It has been that kind of game. Competitive, but played out in a fair atmosphere. That's what we like to see. Dawson so far has been using all of her experience to marshal that back line for the away side. Just over 5 minutes to go now before half-time. And it's been given away, though, by Dick. This could spell danger for her side. And as it was passed forward, already Reuteler was in an offside position, not retreating. Now Anyomi back to goal and giving the ball away. Initially, at least. As it's one-way traffic at the moment. Eintracht Frankfurt really pushing on here as time goes on. Freigang brings the ball down. There was just a hint of handball. I think the referee was looking straight at it. Just had to think a moment before making the final decision. No sense there. Perhaps in that replay we saw that foot was a little bit over the ball in that challenge that she made. Yellow card though for her. As here's the restart finally for Hoffenheim. Trying to spread the play again there for Hoffenheim, but Eintracht winning it back and then giving it away. One of those phases again when the other side really wants to hold possession. Wilson is checking back. Dorsu. Sense looks up. A little bit more snappy with the pass here, Eintracht Frankfurt, than their opponents. As Dorsun sends that forward and Yumi goes down. Kazaya perhaps just catching her as she looked to run in behind accidentally. As Yumi has stayed down. Gingerly getting back to her feet though. Let's have a look. Yes, nothing really in it, just showing her strength there, Kazaya Garcia. Two minutes left on the clock in this first half. 0-0. Is there to be a little sting in the tail at the end of this first period? I would have thought that both sides are pretty happy with how this has gone. Maybe Eintracht Frankfurt will be slightly disappointed they haven't created a real clear-cut opportunity, given the amount of ball they've had, and they'll look to up their invention in the final third. Coming into the second half, I would have thought. About to tick over into the final minute of the first half. As once again there's a foul coming in, this time from Rankin. And Frankfurt here, this is a dangerous position for a free kick, particularly at the end of the half. They can throw perhaps one or two more players up there than they would have in normal circumstances. Score now would be a real blow to Hoffenheim, if that's what happens. Let's see. As they're going for a clever variation here, the ball put across, and that's fine goalkeeping from Dick there. There was Reuteler with the run off the ball, trying to catch out the Hoffenheim defence, but again, nothing doing. Runs into time added on, and in fact there will be no time added on as Franziska Wildfeuer blows the whistle right on 45 minutes as we go in at the break here. Goalless, unfortunately, between Hoffenheim and Eintracht Frankfurt. No goals so far, but the action was pretty fast there. A breathless first 45 minutes. Eintracht Frankfurt surely with the better of the play, but Hoffenheim really well organised against them to catch them offside, not giving them any real clear-cut opportunities. Not a lot really for Dick to do in goal. At the other end, Johanna's fairly untested, although at times Cerci, Hickelsberger, Fuller and Mamiti did cause problems for defence, but really once Eintracht settled down, it did look more and more as though it was going to be them who would make the breakthrough. There was none, though, coming into half-time, despite the best efforts of that front three, Anjomi, Freigang and Reuteler. But that's more down to great defending, really, from Hoffenheim, rather than... I'm sure, though, that their head coach, Nico Arnautis, will be looking for more from his team, particularly in the final third, to try and carve open the Hoffenheim defence. Theodoros Dides, on the other hand, will be happy with his lot so far. You can join us in about 15 minutes or so to see breakthrough in this game in the second half.
Im neuen Jahr 2025 geht es auch wieder für die Frauennationalmannschaft rund in der Gruppe 1 der Liga der UEFA Nations League wird in die ganze Erfahrungen gehen. So geht es im Februar, am 21. Februar in die Niederlande und ein Heimspiel ist dann am Dienstag, 25. Februar gegen Österreich. Sicherlich auch für die Beteiligung von Spielerinnen unserer TSG Hoffenheim, aber von Frankfurt sowieso, ihre Menge Nationalspielerinnen. Dienstag, 25. Februar, Deutschland gegen Österreich. Hoffen wir mit unserer TSG zum Beispiel. da kann man vielleicht jetzt auch, weil jetzt hier der neue Unterstützung in der zweiten Hälfte, wenn die aber zu Hause gehalten wollen, gegen das Spiele, gegen die Frankfurt.
Welcome back then to the second half of this Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga match. Match day 10 at the Dietmar Hopp Stadion for Hoffenheim versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Goalless at half-time between these two, as Eintracht Frankfurt look to close the gap on Wolfsburg, the league's top side, who won earlier on against Turbine Potsdam. No breakthrough though for them against Hoffenheim, who have defended excellently. Eintracht Frankfurt perhaps investing a little bit more into opening the scoring than the hosts so far. But it has been a highly competitive fixture, and hopes are high for a fantastic second half. Not to say that the first half didn't have its entertaining moments, although we only had 4 shots on goal in total. It was an absorbing game with both teams playing at a high pace. And Eintracht Frankfurt at times really showing quality. Although in the final third, sometimes making the wrong decision perhaps. Let's see what happens then in this second half, as Laura Fragang is about to get us going alongside Anjomi. Eintracht Frankfurt to kick off this second period, and having seen Wolfsburg ease to a 3-1 win earlier on against Turbine Potsdam, the chips are down as away we go then for this second 45 minutes between Hoffenheim and Eintracht Frankfurt in the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga. Big 45 minutes coming up here on match day 10, especially with Bayern and Bayer Leverkusen to play tomorrow. Those teams all level on points coming into this with Eintracht Frankfurt. Hoffenheim, meanwhile, looking to take the 3 points to get up the table. It's been an inconsistent start to the season from them, really. To improve, although, as you could see, both sets of players, when they came out, it is pretty cold in Hoffenheim. Maybe that will be a factor. Stamina will start to drop quickly. We saw a lot of work rate going into this match from both teams in the first half. Don't think that they can keep up that kind of industry, but we will see. Eintracht Frankfurt coming into the game as favourites, especially with their recent record against the home side, unbeaten in the last 5. Hoffenheim are looking to avoid a third loss on the spin in the Frauen Bundesliga. Now a long ball up the field for Eintracht Frankfurt. Perhaps they'll start going a little more direct as time wears on. Certainly seems as though they're not happy just to come here and pick up a well-earned point. They want the win. They maybe feel so they can be involved in that title race until the end of the season, as the ball is sent bouncing here towards Nicole Anjomi. First touch of the ball from Dick. As the ball is sent straight back down the other end here. First attack from Hoffenheim, and it's touched out of play for a corner. Oh, Cherchi there showing how dangerous she can be, playing on the shoulder of the last defender. In that case, it was Volta, who I said in the first half she should have been pushing up the wing a little bit more. Maybe she's got one eye on Cherchi. As Mimiti goes across to take this first corner of the second period. It's only the 4th of the game overall. 3 minutes into the second half. High one, punched away initially, back in again by Hoffenheim. Can they get a clean shot away? It's just sent arcing away there on the spin from Kazaya. Looking for the wonder goal with a left boot there. Just pulling it off. Johannes there was called into action. We didn't see too much from the Eintracht Frankfurt goalkeeper in that first half. That's Volta here. Looks as though she's just been caught. Looks to be a really painful one on the ankle. Calling on the physios. So Graver wanted to help her to her feet, but she's gone back down again. Just happened there. She got to the ball just a split second before Cherchi. Alice in the challenge at all. The ball was there to be won for the Hoffenheim forward. Well, they'll be hoping that Volta can continue here, coming up to 5 minutes into the second half. It looks as though the physio is in contact with the bench. That's never really a very good sign. Though it was just an impact injury, it appeared. More to it, though. She is limping off the field initially on that far side. Nico Analtis doesn't look too happy with that. Oh, these two the best disciplined teams in the Frauen Bundesliga. No yellow cards so far as Anyomi looked to just squeeze the ball through three players there. Didn't manage to, but did pick up the loose ball. As the attack continues to build here for Eintracht. Anyomi again. Far too much on that, not allowing Freigang to get onto it at all. That's what Hoffenheim have done so well. They've not allowed the likes of Anyomi, Freigang, Reuteler too much space. Although what's happened here? Immediately Eintracht were appealing. It looks as though it's going to be a penalty, and it's one of those strange ones where a player picks the ball up after a restart, is it? Let's have a look. Oh, Dick there, keeping the ball in. And we're not going to get a clear view of it, but it is a penalty. How bizarre. Hoffenheim there just imploding defensively. And it allows Dorzun the chance here to break the deadlock from the penalty spot. That is an absolute gift, which she takes. Not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, is she? As she gets the opening goal here away from home, and how big could that be? Well, that is incredible. Hoffenheim have been so well organised throughout this match, and suddenly a mistake. Let's have a look. Finally, we can see what happened. We missed it totally. Well, the player there thought that the ball had gone out of play, and you can see immediately Dick saying, "Why have you done that?" No, and it's a handball in the box. It's got to be a penalty. We've seen a couple of those recently. Not only in the Frauen Bundesliga, but also in men's football, men and women's football around the globe. It's unbelievable. That seems to be a trend, to try and get on with the game as quickly as possible without really thinking. As Sarah Dorzun grabs her third goal of the season in bizarre circumstances. Well, it all came after that little bit of treatment for the player Volta. Perhaps the Hoffenheim defence were caught slightly cold. after the restart there. Utterly bizarre. Eintracht Frankfurt, though, will accept that gift, and now they've got their noses in front. They can perhaps take this on, really, against Hoffenheim after that lapse in concentration. Well, here goes Anyomi steaming down the left-hand side now to take on Kazaya. The ball rolled back to the edge of the box, but to no one in particular. Well, we're into the 10th minute of the second half. And Eintracht Frankfurt taking the lead. As here's another replay for you. Dick there, keeping the ball in play and rolling the ball across. I believe it's Kazaya. Well, she should know better. Immediately you can see that Dick's saying to her, "What are you doing?" The Eintracht Frankfurt players, they were on it straight away. We saw them appealing as the camera wasn't following the action. And luckily, so was Franziska Wildfeuer, the referee. She saw it immediately too, pointed to the spot. It was a little bit of confusion at first, but then it dawned on everyone what Kazaya had done. That's incredible. It just goes to show that you need to be focused at all stages of the game. Can't let your attention wander whatsoever, not even in a seemingly meaningless part of the action like that one. Kazaya not realising that her keeper had kept the ball in and was just bowling it out to her to keep possession. Very bizarre indeed, as here we see Reuteler in the left-hand channel. Big chance here. Anyomi was sliding in and she couldn't quite get a touch on it. If she had have done, surely that was 2-0. As you just get the feeling that Hoffenheim are there for the taking now for Eintracht Frankfurt. They're getting in a little more often down that left-hand side. Reuteler was this time with a fine run. As Hoffenheim, well, they've really got to watch themselves here. Against an incredibly dangerous Eintracht Frankfurt. We know that they are the league's top scorers. We also know that they've got the best defence. This really an uphill struggle for the home team to get back into this, as they're staring down the barrel at the moment of 3 defeats in a row. Not an ideal situation at all for the team from Sinsheim. Well, let's see how close Anyomi was to touching this in. It's agonising, really. She had anticipated it much better than the defender even. And started to slide early, but just couldn't quite get there. Desperate to score. Well, it's all just gone a little bit flat at the moment for Hoffenheim. As you can imagine, the wind out of their sails after that bizarre penalty. Although Churchy here looking to inject a little bit of pace into the attack. As Kazaya Garcia goes up the field. She wants to make up for that mistake. It's going to take a lot, though, I would say, as there's a chance for her from outside the box. Great effort. And she sends the rocket, though, just over the bar. Well, I think you can expect her to be in and around the penalty area as much as possible for the remaining just over half an hour. She caught it really well. Just leaning back, though, you can see that. And not testing Johannes in the Eintracht Frankfurt goal. well, she's pushing up into attack as an auxiliary forward. She's leaving gaps at the back for Eintracht Frankfurt, perhaps to counter-attack against. That's the danger. Hoffenheim here, scrapping for the ball. As Dorsun, the goal scorer, just hammers it away. That's a good turn from Corley, and now the shot coming in towards the near post, and it's comfortably held by Johannes. Well, it was Hickelsberger Füller in the end who decided to pull the trigger rather than keep the passing going towards this near side of the penalty area. She saw the gap, but she couldn't find a way past Johannes. As we come up towards an hour played, and surely Hoffenheim are thinking of making a change here. The game has run away from them somewhat, although the last couple of minutes they have looked brighter again after the blow of suffering from that poor decision making from Kazaya, that in that bizarre penalty incident. Although they've got some defending to do now. Anyomi trying to run onto this through ball. And it's fine defending again from Dick. Well, her reaction said it all. As soon as Kazaya picked up the ball, she shouted, "Why?" And the referee pointing straight at the spot. As there's a ball over the top here, and a chance for Hickelsberger Füller, and it's a fantastic stop from Johannes. Suddenly Hoffenheim really coming into this game now with an hour gone, as the low strike there turned away by the Frankfurt goalkeeper. Terrific from both players. Well, let's have a look here. It's a brilliant flick on to get her in the first instance. And it looks as though Volta there was not quite up to speed with the Austrian. She might be feeling that injury from earlier on, just before the penalty incident. She might want to come off. I think we did see her signalling something. The play goes on for now, with no changes. As Freigang, she's going all the way back to the keeper. And back to the keeper again. At the moment, Eintracht Frankfurt just having to be a little bit patient with their play. Although here goes Dunst down the left-hand side. Kazaya comes to face up to her. And the ball goes centrally, and a swerving shot coming in there from Greve from all of 25 yards, and it's a save for the cameras really from Dick this time. See, cutting across the ball there to send it arcing away from the keeper. Theodoros did is not really happy with what he's seeing at the moment from his team, although they have improved. They've kept their chins up since falling behind to that strange penalty. As Anyomi feeds this over the top, big chance for 2-0, and another big stop there from Dick. Well, the game really stretched now. We're seeing opportunities at both ends, as both goalkeepers as well being called into action more and more. This is what we like to see. The first half was engrossing. This is much more exciting. I think that goal from Eintracht Frankfurt really is the thing that we needed. Coming early on in the second half as well, 52nd minute from Dorsun. So it sounds like we're going to have a triple change imminently for Eintracht Frankfurt. Just to freshen things up. We are 1-0 to the good with now 26 minutes remaining. Said that perhaps stamina will play a part in this game, making the first moves. Eintracht Frankfurt, of course, they said as well coming into the second period that it looked cold when the players came out on the field. They all felt it. And that's perhaps also taking it out of them. Let's see what Eintracht Frankfurt coach Kannada has got up his sleeve here. As the ball finally goes dead, so we can see that triple change coming. Well, it does look as though Volta is one of the players who's coming off. She was caught by Hickelsberger Fuller in the lead up to that strange penalty decision. As Reason comes on for her. Another player withdrawn, unlucky not to get the second goal as Chiba comes on to replace her, and she's straight into the action immediately, pouncing on a loose ball and getting the ball across. As then we also see the third change, Greva, who has put in a real shift in the centre of midfield. She's replaced by Tanja Pavolek. Well, switching it up in all areas, defence, midfield and attack here, Eintracht Frankfurt, to try and fend off Hoffenheim. As you can see, the graphic comes up, 1-0 to the away side. 25 minutes to go in the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga match here on a Saturday evening in Hoffenheim. It's been a really good one so far, and a bizarre penalty decision. I'm sure we'll see that again before the 90 minutes is up. Dorzun converting it. It was a certain penalty, nothing to do with that. But Kazaya picking up the ball when Dick passed it to her. Kazaya thought the ball had gone out of play. It hadn't. And immediately the referee pointing to the spot. A gift, an absolute gift for Eintracht Frankfurt. One lapse in concentration from Hoffenheim and they were ahead in a flash. And Kazaya has burst upfield on a number of occasions just to try and make up for that big error from her. She must be feeling it. Well, surely Hoffenheim are thinking of making changes of their own. Midway through the second half, we're coming up to the final quarter of the game. Johannes has been stretched a couple of times by the likes of Hickelsberger Fuller, but not enough to try and get back into this game. It has become stretched, and I think that bringing Chiba on for Anyomi could be a very good move for Eintracht Frankfurt. She loves to be buzzing around all over the place. I think as gaps appear at the back, she will be quite happy to fill them. Perhaps the passing there just a little bit too casual from Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht getting the free kick in the end, under all that pressure from Hoffenheim. There's a long ball up the field here. Kannada should get to that first. Yes, under no pressure, although she was under no pressure when she gave away the penalty. Dawn. Well, it's going to be so difficult here for Hoffenheim to break down this Eintracht Frankfurt defence. Only 5 conceded all season long. Coming up towards the end of the 10th match here, that's the task that faces the home side. Eintracht Frankfurt, you would say, have got Hoffenheim exactly where they want them. Coming into the final 20 minutes. As Reuter here is just retreating into her own half. The ball out towards the right-hand side for them. Loose pass in the centre. Perhaps they'll be missing Griever at first. Although here's a fine run down the right-hand side. The pull back to the edge of the box. Chance again for Eintracht Frankfurt, and it's sent soaring over the bar this time. It was Dunst who thought she had the opportunity. It was Chiba who set it up. The touch there, well, she didn't quite get it out of her feet enough. She was just hitting it a little straight, and that's what sent it over. Another chance goes begging for Eintracht. They've had a couple now to make it 2-0 and get that cushion. 1-0, of course, never enough in the Frauen Bundesliga, especially away from home. Quite often a sting in the tail, and we saw earlier on Wolfsburg, the league leaders, they were leading by 2-0 against bottom side Turbine Potsdam. And a goal back with 20 minutes to go, and suddenly the bottom side came roaring at them and made Wolfsburg look very ordinary until they sealed the deal with 2 minutes remaining to make it 3-1. So anything can happen in the next 18 minutes plus. That's Hoffenheim still working away. Their stamina really something to applaud. Just that mistake from Kannada has been the difference. Well, suddenly half a chance here. Although they've kept it here. Reuter doing very well. Hearing that Hoffenheim finally are going to make a double switch as the ball is delivered in by Eintracht Frankfurt. The switch they're going to make now, or are they going to wait a little bit? It looks as though they're going to wait. Zaya, a long sweeping ball up the field towards Cherchi. She brought it down. The defender was quicker to it, although here we come, Hoffenheim winning the free kick. This is a central one, and it's the first yellow card of the game as well. It comes for Sens. I think she knew what she was doing there, bringing down Corley. That's her third yellow card of the season. As I said at the top of the programme, these two the best disciplined teams in the Frauen Bundesliga. That's now only the 14th yellow card for Eintracht Frankfurt. As Johannes could be tested here from this free kick for Hoffenheim, who fancies it. Probably Mehmeti. As there are two players only in the wall. Johannes hoping to see this ball coming all the way as it's sent over the top. And she can claim there as the header came in. It was a looping one in the end. And she just makes sure there before releasing it, she doesn't give it away to an opposition player. As in the end, that's a horrible slice out of play for a throw-in for Hoffenheim. Oh, that double switch for Hoffenheim still coming to nothing there. Just allowing this spell of pressure to keep on going before making it. 16 minutes to go. Into the final 15 minutes, and as I said earlier, this is when Eintracht Frankfurt are so dangerous. They've scored 9 goals in the final 15 minutes of games this season and conceded none. That is extremely bad news for the home team, given that they trail by 1-0. As finally here come the changes for Hoffenheim. To make an immediate impact in this final quarter hour. Well, Feldkamp is coming off. Grabowska is coming on. She was dropped to the bench for today's match. And Dornoff from the back. Izan Kaut coming on. Still keeping the powder dry, really, I would suggest. Theodoros Didis, as you see that Hickelsberger Füller also withdrawn for Delacau. Hickelsberger Füller, typical energetic performance from her up front, perhaps not the goal-scoring opportunities, but always pressing from the front, trying to get others involved as well. Selfless worker, the Austrian. But now the onus really is on the home team here. Trailing 1-0, 13 minutes to go against second place Eintracht Frankfurt. As it stands in the table, they are in 8th spot. Can't drop in the table, at least. That's one thing for them, but they will want to stay away from that relegation zone, that's for sure. And to get dragged into anything untoward. Need to start climbing the table. If they had won today, they could have gone 7th with Werder Bremen still to play. As the cross comes in and drifts out of play. Maybe they're just starting to run out of ideas, as it was Janssens bursting forward, but that deep cross coming to nothing. There's now Eintracht Frankfurt going to make a change. It's going to be Sens who is coming off. Vamsa on, so perhaps a more defensive move here from Eintracht Frankfurt. 12 minutes to go. Just moving across into the centre of midfield by the looks of it, Vamsa. As we see Chiba here, as I said, buzzing around everywhere. Getting the return ball on the left or being fouled. Which way has that gone as Janssens came in? Cracking challenge in the end. Have to defend this throw in though, Hoffenheim. 11 minutes left on the clock. It's really ticking down quickly as far as Hoffenheim are concerned, as Eintracht win the corner here. It's the 5th of the game overall, the 3rd for Eintracht Frankfurt. They've had 59% of the possession. They have been on top, deserved their lead away from home. As the corner is floated in, it was just flicked on, no one could really get to it though. Direct it towards goal. Dorsun. A deep ball in from the right hand side, cleared by Hoffenheim. Can they come on the counter attack? It's sent towards Mehmeti, and that was a crunching challenge coming in there from Lursen. Almost getting on the end of the ball as well as it went loose. As Mehmeti just keeping it in, has she? Now it's gone over the line. Look at that coming in. Full of desire, Lursen bursting up the field from left back to win that ball. As Corley just sends it up the field there, we can see from the statistics it has been fairly tight as far as shots are concerned. The possession much more really for Eintracht Frankfurt, and the challenges as well. That's been the difference. But the main difference was that lapse in concentration from Kazaya of Hoffenheim picking up the ball. She thought it had gone out of play. It hadn't, as a goalkeeper Dick passed it to her. She picked it up, and that was a penalty. Well, if that is to be the only goal of the game, it will be a real shame for Kazaya, who has done her best to get a team back into it. As we can see, the next 5 games for Hoffenheim, they have the chance to get back on track against Carl Zeiss Jena. The Essen game as well. Team in and around their spot in the table. Very interesting indeed. Of course, there's a DFB Cup women's tie coming up before those games. Let's have a chance here, although the whistle has already gone. Dorsun there, again using all of her experience. Just going down when she feels the shoulder come across there from the attacker. And winning the free kick. Well, it's frustrating really for Hoffenheim from this position. When players of the likes of Dorsun do things like that, they just seem to have a great knowledge of the game, how to see out a 1-0 away win. Just a reminder, in the table, this keeps Eintracht Frankfurt 2 points behind Wolfsburg. Both the top 2 have played, or will have played, at least in 7 minutes. 10th match day, Bayern and Bayer Leverkusen still to play. They play tomorrow afternoon, Bayern against Carl Zeiss Jena, and Bayer Leverkusen away to RB Leipzig. As the ball is lifted in here for Hoffenheim, and that's a great take for Johannes. She exudes calm, bowling the ball out as if that was no thing. 6 minutes left on the clock. Chiba just touching it around the corner here. There she is again. Quick feeds. Short ball for Dunst. Burson. And Eintracht quite happy to go back to the halfway line with time ticking down. For Johannes, it will be a 6th clean sheet. Though she hasn't really been tested today, her saves ratio will be even better than previously, with 80%, as we're going to see. Have a change here for Hoffenheim, trying to make it as quickly as possible with only 5 minutes remaining. Rankin coming off and Hahn coming on, former Eintracht Frankfurt player. For me, Hoffenheim not making their changes early enough, really. We'll see if it does make a difference. Eintracht Frankfurt were a little bit more on the front foot. Even though they were ahead, they still made changes to keep things fresher. Moment, the Frankfurt players first to every ball in midfield, as there is confirmation the next Frauen Bundesliga match for Eintracht Frankfurt against RB Leipzig. Look at match day 13 against Bayer Leverkusen, that's a big one, and match day 15 as well, away to Wolfsburg. Dear me, big games. There's almost the ball coming through there from Freigang to Chiba. Oh, you can just feel the frustration down on the field for the Hoffenheim players. Eintracht Frankfurt just showing their quality and experience here, having featured in the top 3 couple of seasons. Know exactly what they're doing. This is a classic away performance, really, from Eintracht Frankfurt, making the breakthrough and then keeping it tight, but still providing a real threat on the break, but closing the door at every opportunity at the other end. The goal, a gift, yes, the error from Kazaya to give away the handball. With a moment of madness, but they have deserved the win here for me, with 3 minutes of time remaining. The ball hoisted in there, and it can take it. They're not bursting forward as we saw earlier in the game. Perhaps they have run out of steam, the home team, despite the support from the stands. She is again, Janssens. Now downfield from Corley, and it might break through here. Bit of defending to do there for Eintracht Frankfurt as it went bouncing through. In the end, though, Dorsun mopping up at the back ahead of Churchy. As is another sloppy piece of midfield play from the away team. No space, though, really, to get the ball away and release someone in the box. They recover so well. And in the end, the whistle blows. You can see it's a just a shrug of the shoulders. They've just completely run out of ideas as the offside flag is raised there. That's why the whistle went against Janssens, as there's going to be a late switch here for Eintracht, with Reuteler coming off and Weiss coming on, just to run down the clock a little bit. I think there's going to be about 3 minutes of time added on. Sorry, Nachtigall it is who is coming on for Eintracht Frankfurt. Do apologise. We're ticking into the final minute of the 90. Can Eintracht Frankfurt hold on to what would be a crucial 3 points? Big weekend of action in the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga. And they have done their part of the bargain, as have Wolfsburg already. Now the gauntlet is thrown down to Bayern and Bayer Leverkusen tomorrow. That top 4, it is turning into somewhat of a 4-horse race. As the ball is sent forward, and Johanna's sweeping up at the back, and her clearance there, she didn't really make good contact with it. Janssens almost got on the end of it, as we see that 4 minutes of time added on being signalled. That is a big number for Hoffenheim. Gives them a little bit of a lift. It's a lift that they certainly need. Weary legs out there. Not so much for Eintracht Frankfurt, still very sharply to the ball at both ends of the field. The prize, a massive one for Eintracht Frankfurt. Oh, the pundits saying they do have a small squad, Eintracht Frankfurt, but they've made changes at just the right time today. And bringing on almost equal quality with every change. I wouldn't exactly say that their first 11 is set in stone. And for example, as quiet as Freigang was kept today, they managed still to find a way to break the deadlock, even though it was a bizarre penalty decision. I think they would have worn down Hoffenheim eventually anyway, to be honest. They've been on top in the game. A couple of flurries from the home team. Nothing more really to worry Eintracht Frankfurt. We've had more shots, more of the possession, and more of the big chances as well. Hoffenheim, 0 big chances. Says it all, really. This play goes back the other way. Of course, it's Chiba who is running onto it, this time down the right-hand side, tries to lift it towards the edge of the box there. So we're just over midway through, time added on, as Mehmeti is brought down. Going to see a yellow card here for Pavolek, who came on as sub. She will take that for the team, that's for sure. Just to stop Mehmeti in full flow on the right-hand side. She knew exactly what she was doing, had no eyes for the ball at all. It's her first yellow of the season. Well, no yellows for Hoffenheim tonight, keeping up their record as the best behaved team in the Frauen Bundesliga. But can they now snatch a late and dramatic equaliser? Mehmeti with the free kick, dropped in high. Goalkeeper goes down, and it's sent wide in the end. Well, the chance was there. Maybe the foul has been given on the goalkeeper. There's a massive collision in there don't know what the decision is in the end. Well, it was a teasing ball. And it's a collision between the goalkeeper and her own player, Dorsun. It would not have been a free kick. And what a let-off that is. Well, it's Hahn who had the opportunity. And it comes off her shin and well wide. Well, Dorsun, who has scored the only goal of the game from the penalty spot. She's down here right at the end of the match, having been clattered by her own keeper. It looks as though she is okay to finish off the match. Just a bit groggy. Hannah's also getting some treatment, but they're both on their feet at the same time. But my word, that could have been the equaliser there right at the end for Hahn. Just couldn't control the shot as it fell to her. It came to her so quickly, I think. She couldn't quite readjust to send it on target. It's coming off the shin pad and squirming out of play. The head coach there, you can see Nico Arnautis is furious. He wants them to get as much distance up the pitch as possible, and they were hoping to play out with the pass. They wanted as far away from their own goal as possible, as there will be another agonising few seconds here for Eintracht Frankfurt to hold on to this away victory. Can Hoffenheim finally find a way through? Last opportunity perhaps here. Dorsun, who was groggy, well, she's done well in two challenges there, but the corner has been conceded. One last push here from Hoffenheim. Can they put a spanner in the works here? Eintracht Frankfurt, I think this would be a marvellous result. Glance at the watch there from Arnautis. So the signal goes up. It's just got to be whipped in towards the penalty spot, surely. In it comes. That's exactly where it arrives. It goes through everyone. It'll come back in again from Janssens, and it's claimed by Johannes. And that is the final action of the match. A huge celebration there from the Eintracht Frankfurt players and bench, as Dorsun's penalty after 52 minutes is the only goal of the game. The camera immediately there focusing on Kazaya, the Hoffenheim defender. It's her mistake which led to that penalty. An utterly bizarre turn of events. And she handballed when under no pressure. She thought the ball had gone out of play. Her goalkeeper passed it to her. She picked it straight up. And immediately the referee pointed to the spot. The Eintracht Frankfurt players were alert to it. They appealed. The only person who was involved in that whole incident was the Spanish defender. What an unfortunate way for Hoffenheim to lose the game. But that is typical Eintracht Frankfurt. Away from home, getting the goal, keeping it tight. It's another clean sheet for Stina Johannes. That's her 6th of the season. And although they didn't rack up the goals like they can do, coming away to Hoffenheim and winning 1-0, that is an excellent result indeed. For Hoffenheim, it's a little bit of trouble for them, it's got to be said. 4 wins, 6 defeats in the opening 10 matches. Now a -1 goal difference as well. They're so inconsistent. And it's now 3 losses at home for them as well. You'd think that would be a strength at the Dietmar Hopp Stadion. But so far this season, it hasn't turned out that way. They did not perform badly here by any stretch of the imagination. They really gave it their all. They did run out of ideas, perhaps, in the last 10 minutes, and I do believe that they made changes a little bit late into the game. Eintracht Frankfurt just a little bit sharper in that under Nico Arnautis. Theodoros Didis sat on his first 11, for a bit longer. That may have made a difference. But in the end, the main difference is that goal from Dorsun. In unfortunate circumstances for Hoffenheim, the lapse in concentration from Kazaya making all the difference today. Well, I'm sure her teammates will rally round her. She did her best, absolutely, to get her team back into it herself and make up for the mistake. It wasn't to be, though, as the team lose by 1-0. As here we see the stats at the end, it looks pretty tight. However, Eintracht Frankfurt, for the first 70 minutes or so, were well on top. I think they had the game well under control throughout. It's a superb result for them as they stay in second place. As here are the highlights for you. Well, this is the penalty decision. This was the bizarre one, as Dick keeps it in there from that shot, which was going well wide. She rolls it here to Kazaya, who thinks it's a restart. She didn't see the ball go out of play. Handballs it, and the referee, seconds later, there's the peep of the whistle for the penalty. Dorsun up from the back, the experienced defender, sending the keeper the wrong way. 1-0. An absolute gift for the away team. You cannot do that. And we have seen it has become a theme in world football. You just need to concentrate for the full 90 minutes. You cannot switch off at all. Oh, Dorsun taking all the plaudits. As Hoffenheim tried to get back into the game, there was no way through, though. As we see a deep ball coming in here that was just cut back. And the chance, this is for Kazaya. You can see that she was up in the final third as much as possible, despite being a defensive player, sending that shot just over the bar. And the home team continued to knock on the door as well. A long ball forward flicked on here, and the chance it was for Hickelsberger Fuller, but a great stop from Johanna. She was stretched on occasion. The away side's goalkeeper. Superb play from both players, though. And you can see there Dorsun doing her job at the back as well, and scoring the key penalty. The death, there was this one last opportunity for Hoffenheim, and in the end it was Hahn who sent it wide. It wouldn't have been a foul on the goalkeeper. She collided with her own defender, Dorsun. It came so quickly to Hahn, though, she couldn't readjust. And you'll see that it comes off her shin. And she scooches it well wide, as that was the end of the challenge there from Hoffenheim, who lose 1-0 at home to Frankfurt. Freiburg winning 1-0 against Essen. Wolfsburg earlier on staying top with a 3-1 win against bottom side Turbine Potsdam. Tomorrow, all the focus on Bayern versus Carl Zeiss Jena, and Leipzig up against Bayer Leverkusen. They're also in the top four. Second bottom Köln host Werder Bremen on Monday evening. Big games coming up on match day 10 as we look at the table. Frankfurt, they're staying in second spot, 2 points behind Wolfsburg, putting pressure on Bayern and Bayer Leverkusen. As for Hoffenheim, they're in mid-table away from the relegation battle, you would think, but they need to be higher up the table for that top 5 finish that they normally get. Well, thank you very much then for joining us this evening for that Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga match. A really exciting one with Eintracht Frankfurt getting the all-important 3 points at Hoffenheim. It was a poor decision from the defender Kazaya in the end that made all the difference, and the penalty from Dorzun was converted. We will see you tomorrow for more of the same, hopefully. Take care this evening, and it's goodbye from me.
Eine ähnliche Runde, wenn Sie sagen, am Spieler hat abgeholt, eine ähnliche strategische Eingaben, also ein Gast, eine Spieler vielleicht auch Frankreich, eine ähnliche Runde kann eigentlich für Spieler abgeholt werden.
Ja, heute 14:30 Stunden spielen kommt, das ist ein anderes Spiel. Das ist die Oberliga, zu Hause gegen Baling. Ja, teilweise sogar 3, 4.
Machen das auch die Hausmeister.
Ja. Da sind wir. Nachdem mir einen heftigen Schlag gerade mir versetzt wurde vom Teppich. Aber ich lebe noch, das ist die Hauptsache. So, check. So. Da, wo die Frankfurter sind, da wollen die Hoffenheimer wieder hin. Nämlich Richtung Champions League Plätze. Und dazu braucht es große Spiele gegen gute Gegner und so weiter und so weiter und so weiter. Dann machen wir noch hier das Handy auf lautlos, damit nichts dazwischen. Test. So, und dann noch die Szene. Ich muss mir mal hier, was haben wir denn da? Was ist denn die letzte? Das ist die, ja genau, an der Ecke und dann vorbei. Zweiter Sieg in Folge. Frankfurt maximal unglücklich, verliert durch einen. Naja. Check. Reicht dir das?
Mir reicht das.
Wunderbar. Ich brauche nochmal schnell einmal mit Sound, wenn es möglich ist. Dann kann ich mir... Ja, klar. Kann ich mir das auch mal schnell einstellen. Spiele gegen die Großen sind es. Große Herausforderungen für die TSG. Zwei Coaches, die sich auch freundschaftlich verbunden sind, Theodedes und Nico Anautis. Und der kommt mit dem abschlussstärksten Team der Liga. Frankfurt von links nach rechts. Gut, so müsste es für mich einigermaßen passen, wenn es für dich auch passt.
Sekunde noch, sorry.
Sie wollen wieder dahin, wo Frankfurt schon steht. Sie haben mal Champions League gespielt, im Moment weit davon entfernt die TSG Hoffenheim. Zwei Trainer, Theodedes und Nico Anautis, die sich auch freundschaftlich verbunden sind. Und dann ist das also das abschlussstärkste Team der Liga. die SGE Frankfurt, die Gäste von links nach rechts. Lange passiert sehr wenig, weil sie sich alle belauern. Dann Anjomi und dann kommt der Ball gleich über Gräve zu Bara Dunst und die zieht ab, die österreichische Nationalspielerin. Also es ist ein taktisch geprägtes Spiel. Beide wissen, ein Fehler kann diese Partie entscheiden. Der Respekt voreinander ist sehr, sehr groß. Deswegen erst in dieser 23. Minute der erste Abschluss. Hoffenheim verlagert, macht das gut. Die sehr schnelle Belgierin Janssens gibt zurück. Da ist Hickelsberger. Belgien auf Österreich, aber immer noch 0:0. Cerci für Grabowska, Janssens für Hahn heute im Team von Theodelis von der TSG. Anautis wechselt einmal, Sens für Braschnika. Es passiert nicht viel. Es ist alles ein sehr enges Duell im Mittelfeld. Sie lassen sich wenig Raum. Jetzt ist mal ein bisschen Platz und dann kommt die neue, Sens nämlich, Nationalspielerin, gewechselt von Leverkusen. Tolle Verpflichtung der Frankfurterinnen. Immerhin mal wieder ein Abschluss. Es ist die 33. Minute. 0:0 gegen ein so offensiv starkes Team, wenig zu tun zu bekommen. Eine schöne Sache für Laura Dick, die jetzt gleich im Mittelpunkt des Geschehens ist. Aufgepasst, Dick hat den Ball. Gibt ihn rüber zu Kassaya. Aufregung bei Volta. Aufregung. Reaktion Schiedsrichterin Franziska Wildfeuer. Was ist passiert? Hier nach dem Ball von Anjomi, den hält sie klar vor der Linie. Wäre sowieso keine Ecke gewesen. Dann geht's weiter. Sie möchte einfach, dass Kassaya aufbaut. Aber Kassaya denkt doch, Moment, wir machen jetzt einfach mal einen Abstoß. Nein, das ist kein Abstoß. Was machst du bitte? Sie verursacht einen Handelfmeter. Wie bitter. Jetzt ist Dick gefragt. Kann sie diesen Elfer parieren? Kann sie die Mannschaft weiter im Spiel halten? 0:0. Bis dahin ist alles so gut gegangen. Aber dann kommt Dursun. Ein fantastischer Strafstoß. Selbst wenn Dick da ein bisschen in die Richtung tendiert hätte, sie wäre niemals an diesen so exakten Ball herangekommen. Die Eintracht führt. Es ist das 1:0. Es war ein Riesengeschenk. Wie reagiert jetzt Hoffenheim in dieser zweiten Hälfte? Ja, kein Handspiel. Spiel läuft weiter. Da ist Kassaya, die eben noch diesen Aussetzer hatte. Das ist doch eine gute Reaktion von ihr. Und das nur knappe 6 Minuten später. Also, nein, die weiß ja, was sie kann. Das ist auch ihr klar, dass das Mist war, den sie da gebaut hat. Aber sowas passiert immer wieder dann doch mal. Und weiter. Hoffenheim, sie wühlen sich durch. Jetzt kommt die Hickelsberger zum Abschluss. Also, wir sehen ganz gut, die Minuten nach diesem 0:1, keineswegs Hoffenheim geschockt. Also sie haben so viel, so richtig gemacht in einem Spiel, in dem es normalerweise weiterhin 0:0 stehen müsste. Nicht viel zu tun für die Keeperinnen, auch nicht für Stina Johannes auf der anderen Seite. Was ist eigentlich ja genau mit diesem Wahnsinnsduo Anjomi auf Freigang, die beste Torschützin der Liga, nicht ihr 11. Treffer. Und trotzdem, die Frankfurter Fans haben natürlich Freude. Sie führen, die SGE, da kommt dieser Freistoß. Und Achtung, Stina Johannes mit Dursun. Ja, was passiert denn da? Della Kau noch drin und Hahn hat den Ball. Und er ist aber weit vorbei. Dabei hätte sie tatsächlich ein Tor erzielen können in dieser Szene. Denn die Schiedsrichterin sieht hier alles okay. Dursun rennt in ihre eigene Keeperin. Kein Foulspiel von Della Kau. Haben wir noch einen? Wir haben noch einen. Mehmeti mit der Ecke und nee. Passiert nichts mehr. Es ist ein Sieg für die SGE. Das heißt, zweiter Sieg in Folge, drittes Spiel in Folge ungeschlagen. Weiter oben dran, Verfolgung aufgenommen der Wölfinnen. Tja, und das ist maximal unglücklich. Aber eine der besten von Hoffenheim, Marta Kassaya mit diesem Aussetzer, der ein Spiel entscheidet, das normalerweise 0:0 enden müsste. Bitte, was machst du? Die Torhüterin der TSG in heller Aufregung, die 51. Minute. Was ist passiert? Laura Dick rettet einen Ball vor der Linie, obwohl es gar keine Ecke gegeben hätte. Aber nun gut, Spiel läuft weiter. Sie will, dass Kassaya aufbaut. Kassaya denkt, nö, ist doch wahrscheinlich ein Abstoß. Nimmt den Ball in die Hand. Was ist das? Strafelfmeter, Handelfmeter und... Ja. Bitte, was machst du? Die Frage von Laura Dick an Marta Kassaya und unsere Antwort, was ist denn passiert? Franziska Wildfeuer kommt, gibt einen Strafstoß. Wieso? Dick hier am Ball, klar, der ist nicht im Aus, hätte auch gar keine Ecke gegeben, obwohl Anjomi zuvor eben dran war. Nee, dann also hier, spielt doch weiter. Nee, sie spielt aber nicht weiter. Sie nimmt den Ball in die Hand, Handelfmeter. Es ist die 52. und die SGE Eintracht Frankfurt geht mit 1:0 in Führung. Ein Spiel, das so taktisch geprägt ist. Großer Respekt voreinander zwischen Hoffenheim und Frankfurt. Und wie ist dann die Reaktion? Also nachdem so lange alles so gut gegangen ist, das ist die direkte Reaktion. Und der Ball kommt zu eben dieser Marta Kassaya. Also Hoffenheim nicht am Boden, sie weiter immerhin im Weg nach vorne, immer weiter an sich glauben. Freistoß, Nachspielzeit, Johannes fällt, Dawson ist da und Chiara Hahn hat das leere Tor irgendwie nicht richtig vor Augen. Das war die Chance zum Ausgleich in der Nachspielzeit. So irre viel gibt es nicht. Nicht so viele große Szenen, nicht so viele große Chancen. Ein typisches 0-0-Spiel, aber auch solche muss man gewinnen. Und das ist die Stärke auch der Eintracht in dieser Saison nach diesem üblen Aussetzer von Marta Kassaya.
September 18:30 gegen Essen. Rückrunde die Frankfurter gut nach Hause, allen Anhängerinnen und Anhängern der Frankfurter kommt nach Hause. Wir wollen gegen allen Danke. Hier im Hauptstadion.
Was machst du? Die Frage der Keeperin Laura Dick an ihre Abwehrspielerin Marta Kasaya. Und wir sehen, Franziska Wildfeuer gibt einen Handelfmeter. Warum? Dick geht hier an den Ball, kam von Anjomi, wäre sowieso keine Ecke gewesen. Und dann geht es halt einfach weiter. Bitte Aufbauspiel. Nee, kein Aufbauspiel. Kasaya nimmt den Ball mit der Hand. Es ist ein Strafelfmeter. Es ist die Chance zur Führung und es ist die 52. Minute und das 1:0 für die SGE durch Dursun. Nichts zu machen, ein super geschossener Elfer. Bis zu dem Zeitpunkt sehr, sehr taktisch geprägt. Die Partie wenig Großchancen. Wie reagiert wohl Hoffenheim in den blauen Trikots hier? Sie reagieren ganz gut. Der Ball kommt wieder zu Marta Kasaya, die zieht ab. Sie verstecken sich nicht, sie bleiben weiter dran. Es sind keine großen Chancen, auch nicht für die Frankfurterinnen. Und dann die Nachspielzeit. Mehmeti, die Frau für die Standards. Da kommt Stina Johannes, sie greift vorbei, von Dursun behindert. Und wäre das ein Tor gewesen? Ja, aber wo schießt sie hin, die Chiara Hahn? Kein Ausgleich. Und wir sehen es noch einmal. Dursun räumt nämlich ihre eigene Keeperin weg. Man könnte noch darüber nachdenken, ob sie sogar Delacau foult in der Szene. Am Ende ist es ein Sieg in einem normalerweise 0:0 Spiel. Das braucht es auch. Aber es gab diesen einen Aussetzer von Marta Kasaya.
Die Frankfurter gut nach Hause, allen Anhängerinnen und Anhängern der Frankfurter kommt gut nach Hause. Wir wollen gegen allen Danke. Hier im Hauptstadion.
Es ist der 10. Spieltag und wir hatten einen großen Kampf von Essen in Freiburg, aber in Freiburg bleiben alle 3 Punkte. Wolfsburg gewinnt gegen Turbine Potsdam 3:1. Die wahre Geschichte ist aber 2 Elfmeter, durchaus diskutabel, und das erste Tor von Turbine. Es wird erzielt von Lena. Mei. Die Lina. Sie ist die Lina. Wo ist sie? Lina. Der 10. Spieltag beginnt mit einem großen Kampf der Essenerinnen, aber alle 3 Punkte bleiben in Freiburg. Wolfsburg gewinnt 3:1, 2 Strafstöße. Turbine spielt gut und erzielt in der 70. das erste Tor dieser Saison. Lina Vianden, ein sehr spezielles Tor. Knapp hinter der Mittellinie, nahe an der Seitenauslinie, die Linksverteidigerin. Und Hoffenheim verliert gegen Frankfurt. Ein typisches 0-0-Spiel, aber in einem Moment versagen die Nerven bei Kassaya, die den Ball im Strafraum mit der Hand nimmt, weil sie denkt, es ist Abstoß. War es aber nicht. Bayern spielt gegen Jena, Leipzig gegen Leverkusen und Köln gegen Bremen zum Abschluss des Spieltags am Montag. In der Tabelle